my name is Anne Marie, and I'm a member of the Sunfire Stable Show Team with another installment of I Signed Up for the Show Team. What's next? Today our topic is show shine, but deeper than that. I'm here with Tony, and I'm going to turn the camera around here. I'm here with Tony, and he is going to show you how to actually clean a saddle, not just a show shine, but actually clean a saddle.
All right, so there's a couple of different ways that you're going to hear people talk about cleaning a saddle. One of them is giving it a cowboy clean. And when they talk about that, really you're talking about just taking a rag and getting the loose dirt off, which you should do before you do any type of cleaning, no matter what. However, what I want to do is to give you the tips on how to get a nice deep clean to your saddle so that it looks the best it possibly can. Now, there are a bunch of different products that people tend to use, and there are some that are better than others. You're going to find that these wipes are actually very, very popular. Now, for a good clean, this isn't really one of the products you want. This is great for in between classes. If you're in a real dusty place, you want to give your saddle a quick wipe down, that's what these are for. These type of creams and things like that, you know, these are really good, but they're really meant for things like shoes and couches and other apparel. It's really not meant for saddles as much. The thing that I use the most for cleaning is this. This is actually by a company called Farnham. There's also one by Phoebings, and what it is pure glycerin, and it is a spray. And the reason the spray is most important is I will show you in a minute. It helps raise foam and actually helps you get deep into the saddle. But when you're cleaning your saddle, the first thing you need to do is using one of these two products. This one is called Flitz. This one is Never Dull. Both of these are used for cleaning brights. So when I'm going to say brights, I'm referring to metal, conchos, or other bits of metal that are on the saddle. So the first thing you want to do, now for me, I like using Flitz. I think it is a far superior product, and it's easier and faster to work with better results. You can buy this on Amazon.com in small tubes, and it goes a pretty long way. I have a large can. I do a lot of saddles. So you get a little bit on a paper towel, and you go up to your bright, and you just give a good solid rub. And then you go to your next piece, and once again, with your paper towel, you just rub it really, really well, and you get it into all the little nooks and crannies, and you keep wiping. And you do that for about a minute or so on each one. When you are done, you'll notice that your paper towel is turned black. When you see that, you have now polished your metal. You go back and you give it a nice little polish with your paper towel, and if you can see, that is a lot shinier than it used to be. It's fast, it's efficient, and it really does a great job.
Wow.
Now, once you have all of your brights cleaned, if you'll excuse me for a second, the next thing you want to do is you want to move on to cleaning your leather. Now, if you notice, I cleaned the metal first. That is very important. You clean your metal first because then when you go back to clean your leather, anything that you've gotten onto your leather from your metal cleaning will automatically get cleaned off. Some people use Brasso to clean their brights. I'm going to go back to this, and I don't think that's a good idea because Brasso over a long period of time can discolor your leather. So that's why you clean your brights and then you clean it off afterwards. I'm going to use my glycerin soap and a simple kitchen brush, which you can get from Walmart or anywhere else that they sell these. Now, very important. This is the way that other saddle makers have told me. I want to clean this off. Now, this is just a plastic brush. However, take it, and if you find one, rub it on your forearm. If you can rub it on your forearm and it doesn't scratch you, it won't scratch your leather. However, if you feel it scratching you, it's going to scratch your leather. Now, this one's been well used, so it's even softer than it was, and you can wet yours a little bit beforehand, and that way you know that it's nice and soft. All you need to do with this is you take it, spray it on where you want it to be, and as you'll notice, it starts to foam up a little bit. It'll start to run, but that's all right. You take your brush and you get into all the little nooks and it will actually get into, if you notice, all of this is now covered up with a little bit of foam. As you are cleaning this and as you're going through, I'm going to add just a little bit more here. I'm going to go through and I'm going to clean all of this up and just give it a real nice wipe down. And I'm just doing a real quick job here as an example. When I'm done, I'm going to leave that just for a minute. And the reason is because this is glycerin soap, one of the things that's about it is it will actually get into the leather itself and will help soften it a little. When you're done and you've let it sit for a minute, you can go back.
Wow.
And you can just wipe off what's there. Make sure you get into all the little spots and wipe off all of your soap. Now, when you first get it wet, it's going to darken a little bit.
Okay.
Don't panic, because when it dries, it will lighten up again. I have a light oil saddle, and every time I do it, it gets really dark, but then it lightens up over time. It's going to take about a half an hour to 45 minutes for it to lighten up, but it will lighten up again. But once you are done, you will find that you have a nice luster to the saddle, and it looks really well. Now, last thing that I normally do to a saddle is I will put some polish on it. And I use one particular product to do it. This is what saddle makers use. It's called Phoebing's Atom Wax. This is a 2-part product. It not only has a leather balm, but it also has a wax in it. When you get a brand new saddle and it's so shiny and it looks beautiful, this is one of the products that many saddle makers, especially custom saddle makers, will use. I'm going to grab a paper towel here. The thing with the Atom Wax, you really can't do it in cold weather. I'm going to do a little spot on here to show you how it works, but it needs to be above 50 degrees at the very least in order for you to use this. Otherwise, it'll take too long to dry.
Okay.
But normally, the way that you do this is you go get yourself a paper towel, or you can use a rag if you want. It doesn't really matter. After giving this a good solid shake, because you have to mix it up, it will settle a little bit. You take it and you rub it onto your leather, and you really have to get it rubbed in well. When you do, you're going to see that it's going to leave a little bit of a residue behind. It's going to be sort of milky white looking. That's okay. That's the wax. You're going to leave it go for about 15 to 20 minutes. When you are done, when it is done drying, once again, in about 15 or 20 minutes, when you come back, you simply take it and you're going to buff it off. And as you buff it, and I'm going to get a little bit of that here, you are going to find that not only is the leather nice and well conditioned, but it's going to have this beautiful shine to it again. If you use that and use it on a regular basis, even applying it underneath the fenders, your leather is going to stay pliable. It's going to be, it's not going to squeak, and it'll be nice and comfortable. And your saddle will last you forever.
Wow.
Most important things, get your dust off first.
Okay.
Clean your brights. Clean your leather. Then condition it. If you do it in that order, you will always have a nice clean saddle, and you will always take care of your saddle in the very best way. It doesn't take 5 or 10 minutes. It takes about a half an hour to clean your saddle really well. But in the end, it's worth it. And that's the thing that I think that's the best I can show you right now.
Tony, that's awesome. So, and also one of the points that you're making, I think, is that if you take the time to do this to your saddle, maybe not every ride, but, once a month or whatever, it makes the cleanup each time that more easy.
I take apart my everyday riding saddle once every 3 months, and I do a complete clean on it.
Okay.
For my show saddle, I probably clean it once every month during the show season really, really well.
Okay.
And then that means that that all the other shows that I do, it takes only about 15 minutes to go back with the Phoebings and maybe just a little spot here and there with the wax, just to give it a little bright here and there. And yes, it makes it faster, and once again, you're conditioning your saddle when you do that, and you're keeping care of it, and that's what's important.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of interesting because when I asked you to do this, I said, "Oh, how about a show shine?" You said, "No, Anne Marie, I'm going to teach them how to clean a saddle," and that's the difference between putting a bandage on something, on a big gaping wound, and taking care of it. If you take care of it, it takes care of itself essentially.
Well, when you're at a show, you have so many things you're worried about. How's my horse going to be? How's this going to be? If nothing else, you know for a fact that your tack is going to be perfect.
Right.
It's going to look the best it can. I'm going to give you one other piece of advice. All of this that I did here, you can do it on your bridles and your reins as well. And I really recommend it, especially on your reins. Don't buy soft reins,
yes.
feel great underneath your hand. The one important thing you want to make sure is if you get any cleaning products on the bit, remove the bit and clean it with a little Listerine and a toothbrush. And that will make sure that the chemicals have been removed. And if you use one of the minty ones, well, the horse is going to like it.
And the horse's breath is going to be fresh and dandy. Well, and I would also like to make a little plug for two of the products that you used are both local. Flitz is a local company, and Phoebings is a local company. So
and both of them, I feel, are probably some of the best products that I'll use.
Very good.
Yeah.
Tony, anything else to add?
No, have a great show season.
Well, thank you so much for shopping. I'm really glad this worked out today. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and then we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Have a great show.